I'm the bad guy.
She wouldn't even harm a fly.
Oceanmaster is kind of a silly name. It's like naming your guy evil character or like big villain. Welcome back to Villain Review, and today I'm reviewing the second most evil character in the whole movie, Oceanmaster. How good of a villain is King Orm? Let's break him down and find out.
Because for a century, they have polluted our waters and poisoned our children.
Here's what's going on in Atlantis, okay? You got King Orvax and his wife Atlanta and their little whippersnapper Orm. Everything is going great, peachy clean, they're a big happy family until Orvax discovers his wife had another child with a boba looking bloke from the surface. Atlanta and her side piece would have a child together named Arthur, and after getting upset about this, Orvax would banish Atlanta to the trench, causing Orm to hate his half-brother Arthur and all the people living on the surface, thinking they're responsible for his mom getting kicked out. When we meet Orm in the film, he's now an adult who wants to unite the 7 kingdoms of the ocean and start a war with the surface for polluting the seas. Here's the thing, if his origin was truly just that, trying to stop people who are destroying the ocean, you know, putting the rings around turtles, I'd say cool, that's a pretty solid motive. However, there's more than meets the eye. Underneath his righteous quest to save the world's fish, we get a good old-fashioned power motive. The reason I say that is because when he goes to meet the other ocean dude, the guy says,
"But I know what you really want. Once you've obtained the pledge of the 4 kingdoms, you will be ordained Oceanmaster."
It's a line where its inclusion feels intentional, but I think it hurts Orm's motive a lot. His motive reminds me a little bit of Killmonger's, but the difference there is Killmonger actually believes that what he's doing is going to help his community. Orm is just using it as a way to trick the people around him into giving him power. It makes him a lot more evil as a villain, but I think I'd rather just have a good motive.
War is coming to the surface whether you like it or not. And I'm bringing the wrath of the 7 seas with me.
In the hands of a lesser actor, I think Orm could have been a pretty bad villain, but Patrick Wilson does a really good job here. Orm is a character who feels entitled, he's spoiled, and that there's no viewpoint outside of his own, and Patrick Wilson plays all those sides really well. He does a great job of being that cocky villain trying to grab power, but there are also a lot more quiet sides to him. Sides where you hear the underlying sadness in his voice. For every moment of like, come on dude, stop being a douche, there's one where I get the sense Orm is doing all of this because he has that longing for people to love him. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I just get that sense from the character. We have established that Patrick Wilson is great, and I admire how the character has layers like an ogre, but unfortunately, I don't think the movie gives Orm enough for him to make a lasting impact. For the whole second act of the movie, Orm is just sidelined, okay? He's just thrown to the side. And even worse than that, when Aquaman goes to the surface to like play Indiana Jones, Orm ceases to become a threat, and for a large portion of the movie, we're thinking about Black Manta instead. I'll get into it a little later, but this causes Orm to not have the strongest presence in the movie, and like a small child on Christmas morning, I'm all about the presents. Picking off where I just finished, Orm has 2 really good scenes in this movie. His first fight and his last fight. It's weird because Orm's scenes can kind of be described like this. Both fights though do stand out because there are some great moments not only for Orm but also for Arthur. It follows a pattern we've seen a million times where like the hero loses the first fight just to come back stronger and save the day, and like it is a bit of a bummer, but I'm not that mad about it because like a ton of movies do it. Also, as I was rewatching this movie, like the second fight is really well shot. And the cinematography, like dude, it's fantastic. Why aren't more people talking about this? The scenes are both cool, and I like how one is on land and one is in the ocean, but there's just not much in between these 2 scenes that really stand out for Orm, and I think that stinks because he's an interesting character.
He's fled to your world. Kill him and the woman he's with, and you will be rewarded.
Orm doesn't really do a whole lot in this movie, and his actions don't really create a lasting impact for Atlantis or the characters. In these cinematic universe movies, it's tricky because oftentimes everything is planned like 10 steps ahead, but the solo movies that really stand out are the ones where like the beats and events just ripple throughout the whole entire universe's future. Orm doesn't really like kill any major characters, nor does he affect Arthur or like teach him a lesson, and in general, he feels like a very safe villain. All these franchises with the cinematic universes, they need every villain to matter, and it's always apparent which villains the universe is excited to see, and which ones are just filling in the space between the big named villains. And unfortunately, Orm falls into the second category.
I am the one true king!
Orm is by no means a bad villain. He was really close to having an interesting motive, but it ends up being a little generic. Character-wise, I think there is some really interesting stuff here, and Patrick Wilson does a really good job. He has 2 really good scenes, but like anyone who's ever eaten a sandwich before, okay, stick with me, no matter how good the bread is on the top and the bottom, you need some good meat in between to make the whole thing memorable. And Orm, my guy, you got no good meat. That sounded weird. I am interested though to see where they take the character in the sequel. Hopefully something cool, because there is potential in the character. For now though, the way I see it, I give 10s to the best villains and 1s to the worst villains. And with that in mind, I feel pretty good about giving Oceanmaster a 5. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit subscribe because I make a new villain review every single Monday. Look at that one, look at that one, look at that one. There's so many. Let me know what you think of Oceanmaster, Mr. Orm in the comments below, and as always, who I should review next. Thanks again for watching. Have a great time. Enjoy your day.